So they tried the three-man announced team for Turning Point, and you get a buffer between Tenay and Taz, and good God does that make a difference. Tenay isn't overexposed anymore, so he can just focus on being the analysis guy, and everything seems to flow better this way. And I think it's very telling that every single time you get someone new in there, JB, Kennelly, whoever, that both Tenay and Taz seem to have better chemistry with that person than they do with each other. Todd Kennelly has been a breath of fresh air for this product, and whether they keep the three-man announced team or whether they stick with JB and Kennelly in Hour 1 on iMPACT, it's a huge improvement. Would be better if they got rid of Tenay altogether, but it's still a step up. The more you minimize the time Tenay and Taz spend alone together, the better the show will be. Now, on to the matches. Where's your hammer? I'm looking for it. Huh? My what? Your hammer. You know, the one you keep under that bed there, wrapped up in all your aces and eights gear? Where is it? Oh, that. And it's not aces and eights gear, by the way. I don't know where that thing is. I thought you took it. I was looking for it the other day. I couldn't find it anywhere. It's like it just vanished. Really? It just vanished? That's the best you can come up with? Well, that's the truth. And if you think it isn't, then prove it. Ah, so that's how it's gonna be, huh? All right. You take your pathetic, empty victory for now. But I'm watching you. And if you try to play the game of mental chess with me, we both know there's only one way that's gonna end. Game on, motherfucker. No DQ TV title match, Magnus vs. Samoa Joe. Now, I love this feud. Largely because Joe always looks motivated when he faces Magnus, and for Joe, that's not always the case these days. Magnus brings something out of Joe. I don't know what exactly, but this was really good. The no DQ stipulation actually didn't factor in that much, surprisingly. But there was some nice psychology here, with them having each other's moves scouted, kicking out of each other's finishers, and there's a good story being told here too, how in their Bound for Glory match, Magnus tapped out to the rear naked choke, and here he still lost to that move, but he didn't tap out this time, he stayed in it until he passed out. So there's something progressing there. I just wish the announcers had mentioned that. And like last month, I still think Joe winning was the right call. Magnus' standing has improved by having competitive matches with Joe and pinning him last week, but I think it was still a bit too soon for him to win the title. If they can continue building him up for another month or two, give him a little more momentum, then it'll be time. And my guess is TNA will probably want Magnus as the TV champ when they go on the UK tour. You know, they like to do stuff like that as a treat for the fans over there, so I'm sort of expecting a title change in the not-too-distant future, but I think there's some more mileage they can get out of this feud before that happens. Oh boy, Tara and Jesse Goddard versus ODB and Eric Young. Ha-ha! Look, we all knew what kind of match this was going to be. If you're a fan of EY and ODB, you probably loved it. I can't stand those two, so I was just counting the seconds waiting for this to be over. Eric Young did manage to tone down the clown antics a little bit, so he was able to somewhat cover for Goddard, who is pretty limited with what he can do in the ring, which you saw during his brief moments of offense, but still, it was nothing impressive. ODB spits her drink in Goddard's face and kicks him in the nuts when the ref's not looking, so I don't know why the hell we're supposed to cheer for the babyfaces because they cheated to win this match. And since EY might be leaving the company soon, I was really hoping they would lose here. But at this point, I've accepted that there's just nothing about this feud that's going to give me any kind of enjoyment, so to hell with it. X Division title match, Bob Van Dam versus Joey Ryan. Now the real question with this one was, is No Job Rob actually going to put over Joey Ryan on pay-per-view? I'm sorry, guys. I tried. Match was pretty solid. Of course, Van Dam has to act like an egotistical douchebag through the whole thing, and all the sheep in the crowd cheer for him anyway.
You're nothing but a selfish prick!
Van Dam goes over like we all knew he would, but Joey Ryan had a good showing at least. Matt Morgan takes out Van Dam on the stage post-match, so they'll probably transition into that feud in the near future. I just hope it happens after Joey Ryan wins the X Division title. Next came the first of two Aces and Eights matches on this show, Joseph Park versus Doc. This wasn't much of a match, but with Joseph Park in there, you don't expect a 4-star match. You expect a great acting performance and a great story being told, and that's what we got here. He gets beat down for a while, and then he sees his own blood, and he goes into this trance, and he gets his abyss on for a minute, and his facial expressions make that an awesome moment when it happens. I mean, he really sells that great. So they're teasing the split personality thing again. I'm pretty sure the crowd was chanting, "He's Abyss" for a second there. And I do give TNA Creative a lot of crap sometimes, but this gimmick has just been dynamite. Doc wins the match ultimately, but the great thing about Joseph Park is that he doesn't have to go over to keep his heat. With him, it's more about what's going on with his character, which I think has just been fucking brilliant. Bully Ray gives him a nice little rub after the match. That was really cool. A surprisingly enjoyable segment here. I still don't see what the big deal is about Doc. I'm not sold on him yet, but Joseph Park has just been a revelation these past few months. Tag team title match, Kaz and Daniels versus Dos Stereotypicos. The match was strong, but this push of Chavo and Hernandez still bugs me, especially when the heels are outperforming them every single week. The faces win, which I don't agree with, and I don't know who the hell they feud with now. I mean, Gunner and Cash are the only other real option, but they're basically a jobber team, so there's not much mileage there. I still think TNA are missing the boat with Kaz and Daniels, and they've got way more of an upside than Chavo and Hernandez. But for now, it was a solid match. Tex-Mex are still the champs, and TNA continues on with their latest attempt to recapture that lightning in a bottle they had with LAX at one point. Number 1 contendership for the world title, AJ Styles, James Storm, and Bobby Roode. A terrific match from these three. You had great intensity from Storm and Roode, a little nod to their past and beer money, I marked out for that. AJ delivering like he always does. I wish this had gotten more time, though, and I would have been thrilled if they'd taken it from the match that came after this. AJ eats the pin like I kind of expected him to, and he really sold that as a devastating loss. That was a nice job there. Although, I kind of thought Bobby Roode was going to get the win in this match. And I thought because of his history with Hardy and Aries that a triple threat with those three guys would have been a no-brainer. And Storm winning was awesome, don't get me wrong, but now they're looking at babyface versus babyface for the world title, and I don't see them turning Storm or Hardy, so that's going to be tricky. Plus, they kind of dropped the ball on Storm's quest for the world title the last time, and I really feel like he needs to win that thing the next time he goes for it, but Hardy's only a month into his title reign, so the timing of this feels kind of awkward. Unless they want to save Storm versus Hardy for Genesis, which I thought would have been a better way to go. I'm thrilled for James Storm, and I absolutely think he should be next in line for the world title. I just hope them wanting to appease Hardy into re-signing with them won't stop them from pushing James Storm all the way to the top this time. And because of his loss in this match, AJ Styles is now shut out of the world title picture until Bound for Glory 2013. I don't know what he's going to do in the meantime, but as long as it does not involve Christopher Daniels or Kurt Angle again, I'm okay with it. What? Oh, come on, it's possible. Right? Speaking of which, Kurt Angle versus Devon was next, and I'm sorry, but I really didn't care about this match at all. I just didn't. Who was going to win? Who was going to lose? It meant nothing to me. I didn't care. The crowd didn't seem to care that much, and it really went on too long. This whole Devon thing has been a misfire in my opinion. The Aces and Eights angle is moving at a snail's pace. Devon ends up beating the pin, because they weren't going to put Devon over Kurt Angle. Then Angle gets away from his cronies without a scratch, so just a few days after they destroyed Sting and put him out of action, the Aces and Eights all look like total chumps again. So Doc is swearing revengeance against Kurt Angle. He's like, "You're dead, you're dead, you're dead." He's saying this over and over again. And that's pretty funny because the Aces and Eights gave Kurt Angle a huge beating just a little while ago, and he was perfectly fine a week later. So that threat means absolutely nothing now. Boring segment. I can't believe they put this in the semi-main event spot. What a brain fart that was. Good lord.
This whole show is ridiculous!
Main event of the evening. Austin Aries versus Jeff Hardy for the world title and a ladder match. Whoa, hold on. Stop. I don't need that anymore. This was one of those matches where I don't think I need to describe it. I just have to tell you to see it. This was really great. Some terrific spots, some really sick falls, and yeah, the part where Aries raised the belts with the remote control was a little hokey, but it was also kind of clever at the same time. And again, being resourceful and clever like that is something the Austin Aries character would do. So I was okay with that. Really great stuff in this. I thought it was an awesome ladder match. However, I think they missed a golden opportunity here for a really interesting finish where Aries takes down one belt and Hardy takes down the other one. Now, before you say anything, I know, okay? I know it would be just like the quote-unquote Russo finishes that I've railed against countless times, but with the nature of the storyline, with Aries only recognizing the real world title belt and Hardy only recognizing the custom belt, in a weird way, I actually think that would have been kind of perfect. And it would have set up a great rubber match where both guys have a legit claim to the title. I thought that would have been really interesting, but I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. Generally, I liked Turning Point a lot. The Aces and Eights stuff was underwhelming and just felt like filler, and I hated the mixed tag match, but that one really comes down to personal preference. Everything else was good to great, and they ended strong too, so I was pretty pleased with it. I just hope that feeling will extend to Impact on Thursday. A big pet peeve of mine when I go to the movies is characters doing really stupid things that no one in their right mind would do just to move the story forward. And unfortunately, I got that same feeling watching Impact this week. I don't know why the hell they would do this to him, but James Storm comes out so happy to be the #1 contender. He thanks his family, his fans, his critics, everyone that helped him get to this point. And then Bobby Roode comes out and proceeds to play James Storm like a fiddle, getting him to put his world title shot on the line in a match against Roode that night.
Oh, what a bunch of bull.
This is not the first time this has happened in pro wrestling. It's been done many times in the past, and I've hated it every single time, because by having the babyface put his title shot at risk when he doesn't have to, all you do is make the babyface look like a fucking idiot. There was no reason for Storm to put his title shot up for grabs. No reason. Okay, Roode's talking shit about your daughter, and he won't fight you unless you put up your title shot. Here's a crazy thought. Just go to Hulk Hogan and have him book the match anyway without your title shot being on the line. I'm sure Hogan would have been more than happy to do that. Maybe the point was to show that Storm wanted to hurt Roode so bad that he wasn't thinking clearly, but you just ended up making him look like a dumbass. And the worst part was, I couldn't even feel sorry for him, because if Storm had just applied his God-given intelligence for 5 seconds, he could have very easily avoided this whole problem. You know what? The promos here were great, but fucking hell, TNA writers, way to make one of your top babyfaces look like an absolute chump.
You people are fools!
Hey, we actually got an X Division match this week. Bob Van Dam versus Kid Cash. And I almost marked out here because I remember watching these guys face off in ECW back in the day, and that match was freaking amazing. You know, this match didn't measure up to that one, obviously, but it was alright while it lasted. But there didn't seem to be any story here. It was just a random match. You know, I thought Joey Ryan and Matt Morgan would show up, but that didn't happen. It wasn't a bad match, but if there was no point to it other than that, then it was just filler, wasn't it? Jesse Goddard had a match with Eric Young. It was his first singles match in TNA against a man, I'm pretty sure, and I still don't see any reason why this guy should have been brought up from developmental. Just like in OVW, he's very slow, very lazy, moveset is amateurish, the periods when he's on the offense are just sleep-inducing. He might have some charisma, I'm not saying he doesn't, but as a wrestler, there's really nothing to see here. Yeah, I get it, man, your muscles look great. What are you bringing to the table besides that? Huh? Huh? How about you actually break a sweat in your match before you pose for everyone? This isn't OVW, dude. You're on national TV now. Put some effort into it. It is still really early into his run, so it's probably not fair to judge him too harshly. Goddard might improve later on, but so far I am not impressed.
This alleged superstar is an unworthy opponent.
Joseph Park is going to wrestling school? TNA, I want lots and lots of vignettes of that. Make it happen.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
Magnus comes out for what the announcers say is going to be his last shot at the TV title, but the match never happens. The Aces and Eights attack him and he gets stretchered out.
No! No! No!
Magnus is doing a play in England pretty soon, and I was wondering if they were going to have to write him off TV for that, and I guess the answer is yes. Really lousy timing though, right in the middle of his first big singles push when his character is just starting to gain some momentum. I'm not gonna lie, this bummed me out. But it does set up a good angle for him in the future. Maybe he can make his return as a babyface on the UK tour. That'd make a lot of sense. It just sucks that his run at the TV title is on hold now, and I hope this won't derail his push when he comes back. Damn. Ordering your goon squad to take out one of the wrestlers you're a fan of just to divert suspicion? You're craftier than I thought. Kurt Angle has a tag match against Devon in the Armbreaker, and he chooses Garrett Bischoff of all people as his partner. I guess every other person on the roster was in the bathroom or something. The match is okay. Garrett is wisely booked to do very little. The Aces and Eights get involved, Wes Briscoe runs them off, and Angle gets the pin. I really don't understand what they're going for here. The booking of the Aces and Eights is so inconsistent. One minute they're dangerous badasses, the next they're booked like glorified jobbers. Make up your damn minds, TNA. I understand wanting to keep Kurt Angle looking strong, but it's not Angle that you're trying to get over here. And booking the Aces and Eights like they can't get the upper hand on him no matter what they do is not going to help them. Hopefully that'll change when Wes Briscoe is revealed to be one of the members, like I expect he will be. They had a Knockouts Battle Royal match for the #1 contendership, featuring all the other active Knockouts. And as it turns out, every single one of them is a former multi-time champion, which is one of the main reasons why this division is so damn stale right now, and why it's in desperate need of a major overhaul. Just saying. Great to see the other women finally back on the show. Good God, it's been a while. Also great to see a knockout match taken seriously without all the comic relief stuff. But why was ODB in this match? Yeah, she's gotten over on Tara a few times recently, I get that, but you already established that Brooke Hogan was pissed off at ODB for not defending the Knockout Tag titles for what has now been about 7 months, even though you never followed up on this, and now she's getting a chance to earn a singles title shot? Why? Yeah, I know she didn't win the match, so it doesn't really matter, but still, little details like that just bug me. The match was alright. Probably about as good as you'd expect a 5-woman Battle Royal match to be. ODB gets eliminated, Mickie James wins the title shot, and that makes me happy.
Yes!
And yes, we already saw Mickie feud with Tara not that long ago, but since Tara has now feuded with every other active knockout on the roster, you're gonna have that problem no matter what. At least Mickie is someone she can have a better match with than ODB, although the booking of Tara has kind of gone down the toilet since Bound for Glory, so who really knows. AJ Styles had an in-ring promo, and AJ has never been amazing on the mic or anything, but no joke, this was my favorite part of the show because of the character work that's going on here. AJ's had a crap year, now he's shut out of the world title picture for the next 11 months. He's frustrated, he's disillusioned, he doesn't know what the hell to do. He's starting to point fingers at all the people who doubted him during the Claire Lynch thing, and he's taking it out on them. And this was actually kind of fascinating because we've never seen AJ like this before. It's a character trajectory that he's never been on, and I love that. I love when you put characters into new situations because it gives you new things that you can do with them. And unlike the Tara Jesse Goddard's angle, this development actually feels organic. It feels like they really earned this. And I'm watching this, I'm saying to myself, wow, this is really intriguing. This could be the start of a whole new direction for the AJ Styles character. One that's different and fresh and interesting. Then Christopher Daniels came out. You know, the promos were actually very good here, and they did acknowledge that people are probably getting really sick of this matchup, but in this case, self-awareness is just not enough. How many freaking times have we seen this? It's a great match every time, but how many feuds can these guys have before enough is enough? Is this really the only thing you can come up with for them?
Fail! You fail! How do you screw this up?
So now at Final Resolution, they're going to do Styles vs. Daniels one last time. Which, incidentally, is how they marketed their match at Destination X 2011, and their match at Bound for Glory 2011, and then they feuded for like 10 fucking months after that. You know, Kaz made a great point here. He said that AJ Styles is stale. And he is. And one of the main reasons why he's stale is because he's been feuding with the same guy on and off since the beginning of time. I don't know what it is about this feud that TNA finds so fascinating that they feel like they have to do it over and over and over and over and over again, but I can't be forced to care about it anymore. I can't. I've seen it too many damn times. These characters have been locked in a pattern that has been holding both of them back and preventing them from evolving for years. I cannot support this. I won't. I'll watch Final Resolution, but I don't know if I'll bother reviewing this match. I don't even know if I'll watch it. I might boycott it, honestly, because this is getting beyond ridiculous. Cena versus Orton wasn't played out this much.
This whole show violates everything about my journalistic integrity.
The main event was James Storm versus Bobby Roode for Storm's #1 contendership. And personally, I was really hoping Bound for Glory was the end of this feud. They've really retroactively lessened James Storm's victory on that show, but anyway. You could probably guess how this was going to end. The match is good. Roode cheats his way to victory, winning Storm's world title shot. And ultimately, I do think Roode versus Hardy was a better way to go right now, but why not just have Roode win the match at Turning Point? Why did you have to throw Storm under the bus like this? There's no sugarcoating it. James Storm came out of this show looking like a complete fool. I don't know why you would ever want to book him this way, and I don't see what it accomplishes. It doesn't make me feel sympathy for Storm because I can't sympathize with anyone who would do something this stupid. It might sound harsh, but any character dumb enough to fall for something like this deserves to lose their title shot. So if you think the fans are going to rally behind Storm even more now because of this, I really doubt it. And yeah, he got screwed over, but when you get right down to it, he did this to himself. There might be a larger story developing here, and if there is, great. But for right now, I do not agree with how they did this at all.
Therefore, I will not participate in this charade this evening.
I had a lot of issues with this one. There were some big creative decisions that I just couldn't get behind. A frustrating show in a lot of ways. I am looking forward to next week, though. They're bringing all the gut check winners back for open fight night, and some people may not care about that, but I think it's going to be cool to see what kind of progress they've made. And yeah, I've been watching them in OVW, but you put them on a bigger stage and it's a whole different thing. So, until then, see you later.
Why don't you go look for that magical disappearing hammer now?
Yeah, I'll do that. I think I'll look in your room first. Yeah.
Hey. Yeah, it's me. What do you know about this Wes Briscoe situation?